I'm actually live on my phone, not StreamYard. So I want to see this stuff, the community leaderboard and all that stuff as well. So, but I want to just really quickly come on here, talk about, some Yankees needs after, the Red Sox series where the Red Sox took 2 out of 3 from the Yankees. And it seems to me that the pitching has kind of hit a wall, and starting and relief. And with the starting pitching hit a wall, the relief is having to pick up an extra load, right? Extra work. So, and with guys either coming off the IL or guys still in the IL, the Yankees are in need of addressing some of this stuff right now. And I think the Yankees will be wise to add 1 or 2 high leverage arms to the bullpen. Right now, not later. I mean, we're still 6 weeks from the trade deadline, but are we working to address these needs now? I mean, Luke Weaver, we're not going to have back for another 4 or 6 weeks anyway. We need to get somebody like that, right? Somebody who and if you look at the relievers, they have a 3-batter minimum, obviously, but a lot of the relievers that we're having are walking a lot of players, and we need to get try to get a reliever or 2 that can get guys out, either strikeout or contact, and not walk a lot of guys, right? And shout out to the chat, by the way. But now's a good time. I mean, the Yankees do have some wiggle room. Payroll, probably $10 to $15 million in payroll wiggle room leading up until the deadline. So I think it would be wise to try to get guys, and I said this on other channels as well, it would be wise to target guys with some arbitration years, controllable years, mainly for the fact that Luke Weaver and Devin Williams are likely going to walk in free agency, or Luke Weaver will be a free agent. The Yankees are going to try hard to bring him back, I think. But I have a feeling Devin Williams will walk in free agency, but that's 2 big arms they're going to lose, or potentially lose. So getting guys like Jake Bird, I mentioned, from the Colorado Rockies, if they can, I'll be in active discussions with them if I'm Brian Cashman. Who says that he's not? I don't know that he is or not. But these are the folks that I would look at targeting, right? As well as somebody like Merrill Kelly from the Arizona Diamondbacks, a starter who can give them some reliable production on the back end of the rotation too. As well as somebody like Brandon Lau, infielder from the Tampa Bay Rays, right? And again, collectively add all those guys together, and they're still not going to cost the amount of money that the wiggle room that the Yankees have available. So I'm talking about guys that can fit within that pie that can make an impact on the Yankees. And none of the moves are sexy, but they don't need to be. The expensive, shiny toys don't always need to be the ones that come here, right? Frank, Susan, hello, how are you? Yeah. And so, I mean, like another productive infielder would be a good idea. I know they're actively looking for one, but the price tags for some of the third basemen are going to be astronomical. So my guess they're going to look for a second baseman. It's probably easier to get, right? Michael, what's happening? John, what's good? So it's not really a losing streak. It's 2 games. Not really. But good morning, everybody. Good morning, good morning, good morning. And again, now I'm seeing this chat leaderboard. Cool. I like this. This is pretty cool. Keep bringing your comments, gang. Smack the like button if you haven't done that yet as well. I appreciate it. But I want to give you a take, too. What, CeeLo, there he is. What, if anything, do you think would be good ideas for the Yankees to do right now to address areas of the team? Give me your feedback. Right? Right-handed hitter. Who, Brandon? Who? That's the question. And good morning, everybody. Good morning, good morning, good morning. This is pretty cool. I'm actually live on my phone, not on StreamYard. It's pretty cool. Both of the pen, no doubt. No doubt about it. And I have a puffy eye, by the way. Allergies are killing me this morning. But both of the pen, yeah. And again, there are guys that are good, like Kyle Finnegan from the Nationals or Ryan Helsley from the Cardinals, but they're all going to be free agents. This is why I'm talking about guys with controllable years who are arbitration players, who are not going to cost as much as some of these expensive guys, right? And this is where the Yankees can give prospects to get some of these guys with controllable years. That way they are kind of filling those holes that they're going to have to fill them regardless. And yeah, they have guys like Cam Schlittler, who's been promoted to AAA, and you got guys like Alan Wine, you have Clayton Beater coming back, you've got JT Brubaker coming back, you've got Scotty Frost, but when, we don't know. We don't know, right? Steven, what's going on, Steven? Same, man, same. Lou, what's going on, man? Is Austin Riley available? And this is the other question, too. Like, are the Braves going to decide what to do? Are they going to decide to be sellers? I don't know. But with Austin Riley, does that block George Lombard? Because I didn't think George Lombard is the guy that the Yankees want to be their future infield. Now, it could be second also. Like, Jazz Chisholm is a free agent after next year. So, there's that, too. So, but this is, yeah. Well, that's what I'm talking about, Susan. Like, guys with controllable years. Like, Jake Bird from the Rockies has 3 arbitration years ahead of him after this year. He's got 3 years of control. And that's the type of guy that he's got a big arm. He doesn't walk a lot of guys. So, and we need guys in the back end of the bullpen who are going to be able to get guys out and not walk a lot of guys. Because remember, that 3-batter minimum, right? You walk 2 of them, and the next guy comes in, gives up a hit, 2-run score. Gives up a home run, 3-run score. Like, we've got to cut down on our walks in the bullpen, on the back end of the bullpen. We really do. We really, really do, right? And this is where the Yankees would be well off to see if they can get somebody right now. And again, it sounds as if they're actively doing it. I just don't know who. I don't know who. But for me, if you can somehow get Brandon Lau, Merrill Kelly, and Jake Bird at the deadline, those 3 guys would represent a pretty darn good deadline for the Yankees, if I'm not mistaken, in my opinion. But then again, that's just me. That's just me. So, yeah. Yeah, exactly. Guys that can produce, Steven. Exactly. Mitch Keller's got controllable years. Merrill Kelly's a free agent at the end of this year, but he's also proven in the postseason. So, yeah. Yeah, I mean, one of the reasons why our bullpen has been, knocked that great lately is because our pitchers have been getting knocked around a little bit recently. So it's been putting extra burden on the bullpen. And guys like Loizaga, who he's having command issues. He's coming off an injury, right? So it takes a while for these guys to get into a groove when they come off Tommy John, come off other injuries and surgeries. So they're not sharp immediately out of the gate. So, and obviously, the Yankee fan mentality for so many fans is there's no time. There's no ramp-up period. There's no time. You got to be productive immediately. And that, to me, is a very kind of naive way of thinking, but that's just the way that a lot of the fan base, not all of them, but a lot of the fan base thinks, right? Cardinals pitcher contracts, like who, John? Yeah, I mean, I think Ian Hamilton's probably going to be expendable. If they add a reliever, I think he's want to be one of the guys that's going to be expendable. But there's a couple other guys that could be moved on from too. But they've got 3 or 4 guys right at the gate, not including Luis Hill, who has still yet to come back. So Yankees have a lot of reinforcements, and they're relying on a lot of these folks right now that have not played at this level for a consistent period of time. So they're going to get what they get, while other guys are hopefully coming back from an injury. And then when they come back from injury, they're going to need a little bit of time to ramp up too. So, like, it's a potentially lengthy down period. So, but, I mean, the Yankees have to continue to win. Like, they're going to Kansas City for 3 games. Starting tomorrow. They're off today. So, and then they go to Boston after that. They generally play well in Boston, but I don't know. The Red Sox play the Yankees hard. And the Red Sox also have, like, the number 1 or number 2 farm in all baseball. And they're deploying a lot of this young talent right now. So, the timing of that is what it is. Toppers, I mean, I mentioned Mason Miller as a guy that, at the very least, they would be wise to look into. I don't know how much it would cost, but it looks like he's figured out how to pitch again. So, but the price is not going to be cheap. That's for darn sure. But he's the guy with, I think, 4 or 5 controllable years left. I think 4. Well, exactly what we would need. Could you imagine getting a John King? I mean, not John King, a Mason Miller and a Jake Bird? Like, ooh, crazy. Yeah, today was a much-needed off day. The pitchers need a break, the bats need a break. And the bats have been producing. They scored 7 runs yesterday. They scored 7 runs the day before that. It's just the pitching that has not been holding the opposing team down. And this is where they will be wise to add pitching right now. We do play Boston better at Fenway. This is true, too. Stephen. I can't explain why either, but you know, we'll see if we can do without Stanton, because Stanton generally is on fire at Fenway Park. You know, but yeah, the price tag. Yeah, I mean, yeah, the price tag will be high for Mason Miller no matter what. Yep. So, but this is where, like, you know, the Yankees can live in that payroll flexibility that they have, compared to last year, and address the needs that they need to address with guys that have controllable years. And that, I think, is the key. So we're hearing end of June, early July for Stanton. I mean, he just need him to be healthy for the postseason, because when he's, you know, money in the postseason, that's when we need him to be healthy. Yeah. Trade the Rangers for Milner, Molly, Josh Young, and a blockbuster. Clark Schmidt to the head. Could you get Josh Young? And that's the other thing. Like the Texas Rangers, we don't know if they're going to sell either, right? We have to, you know, we're still a ways away from having a better idea on who's going to be buyers, who's going to be sellers. We know the Yankees are going to be buyers to the degree. So they're in first place. They're going to need to, you know, strategically add. And this is where you can strategically add to the team to try to make a deeper run to the postseason. Well, well, yeah. Exactly, Susan. When Stanton comes back, it's going to take him a while to get ramped up. And then once he does, because he usually stinks for a little bit, and then he heats up, then he's unstoppable, and he gets hurt. And then that cycle repeats in that triangle for Stanton. For some reason, it's just the way that it is with him. I have no idea why. None. But it's just the way it is with Stanton. But it's a good point, Susan. Yeah. Stanton comes back. So that's the other thing with Ben Rice, yeah. You have to figure out a way to get Stanton and Ben Rice in the lineup at the same time. You have to rotate Stanton at least in and out in the beginning. You got to ease him back in. I wouldn't just sit Ben Rice full time. I would not do that. Don't want to throw his momentum off. I appreciate you, Toppers, man. Thank you, man. Appreciate you. Yeah. Everybody smack that like button if you don't mind, gang. I want to try to get the likes up. It's always greatly appreciated, and thank you for spending some time with me in the morning today. It's always helpful in this algorithm. The longer you're with me, we're already here for 12 minutes, so I thank you. So I'll probably cut it in another 10 minutes, but I want to just get your take on it. What if you could make 2 or 3 moves from now heading to the deadline? What would they be? It has to be from now heading to the deadline, because after the deadline, you can't really make moves after that. So what would they be? No, that's normal, Stephen. Getting a platelet-rich plasma, that's normal. Yeah, that's part of the rehab. I wouldn't worry about Weaver getting that. Just want him to come back in the 5 to 6 week period that, you know, we're under the understanding that he will be gone for. Right? To me, that's what's going to be. And again, this is why I would add another arm right now, or maybe 2, to the bullpen. Productive arms. Guys that can get people out in high leverage situations on the back end of the bullpen towards the end of the game without walking tons of batters. Well, Volpe's projected right now. I mean, it's much to the dissatisfaction of a lot of fans, but he's projected to probably go 20, 25 home runs, 90 ribbies. We're close to an 800 OPS, so that's a pretty good production for a shortstop. It's going to be better than he's had in the other years. So, but I think for some reason, a lot of fans are expecting him to be Bobby Witt Jr. And I don't know who's hyping him like this, but I would avoid that. Just like I would avoid the hype with Jason Dominguez, the Mickey Mantle hype. Yeah. Jake Bird from Colorado. I mean, he's a guy. If you can you got to get him. You have to get him. And you try to get another arm to go with him in the bullpen. Yeah. And now, you've got some high leverage guys in the back end of the pen where we need it. Right? Well, my guess they're going to try to include Peraza in a trade. I don't think DJ is movable. I'd be shocked if he got moved, DJ. But we need to do better on the bench as well, obviously. And I think they will move on from Praz. I think they'll move on from Reyes in due time too. Once they get the guys here. So, but in the meantime, they're going to stick with them until they get the new players here. Yeah. Yeah, it's just, yeah, Steven. It's just, like the third base market might be Ryan McMahon, might be Nolan Arenado, and the pay for those guys is going to be high. The second base is a little bit different. Like Brandon Lau is shown to be productive, and plus you'd be taken away from Tampa, and they have a logjam over there because they signed Ha-Seong Kim and he hasn't even played yet. So if you move Brandon Lau, it opens up the path for Ha-Seong Kim to play for them. So he's coming off shoulder surgery, and we had said he wasn't going to be back until probably July anyway. So, which is kind of leading to be true. Yeah. Nothing about Moncada. No, he's injury prone, so I mean personally I'm probably a pass on Moncada, but that's just me. That's just me. Yeah. Yeah. He's got a pretty solid bat. He's a switch hitter, but unfortunately he gets hurt too much and he can't field. So, can't field well, I should say. But Brandon Lau allowed you also to keep Jazz at third. Brandon Lau at second. He's not a righty though. He hits lefty, but he's solid. He's a solid player. Bat too. I think that would probably be a good alignment for the Yankees bullpen. I mean, I wanted Brendan Donovan for years, but I doubt that's going to happen. So, beyond that, I mean, Ryan McMahon was a guy I was interested in last year, but he's still trying to navigate his way around offensively, and I don't know that the Rockies are going to move him. I don't know that they're not inept enough to they'd be wise to move some guys and get some prospects back in return. They really would. And Jake Bird is like a 3 prospect package. I would give them probably Everson Pereira. I would give them, I don't know, one of these pitchers, Brock Selvage or Kyle Carr, and even another one. And maybe a fringe relief pitcher to replace Bird. So, Jonathan, what's happening, my man? Jacob. And that's what I would do. Right? That's what I do. Again, I was, Jonathan, I mentioned to you, my ideal trade deadline would be Brandon Lau, Jake Bird, and Merrill Kelly. You get your infielder, you get your relief pitcher, and you get a starter. I would love for them to get 2 relief pitchers, but I'm going to stay in reality. But I also like those guys because with the financial wiggle room that they have with Cole missing some time, they've got about 10 or 15 million to play with. And they can probably get all 3 of those guys if possible and stay in that range based on whatever money's owed left in the account. And also, Brandon Lau has an $11.5 million option for next year. So you would have him for next year if you wanted to keep him there too. And then, after next year, he and Jazz would be free agents. And if they walk, you got George Lombard to replace them. You got, maybe somebody like Rock Ridge or someone else to come in too. So, from a sequential standpoint, the timeline works well on that too. Jacob, what's a good word? I think it would be wise for him to get a starting pitcher at the deadline. It would be wise. And the pitching has hit a wall, right? And the starters have been a little vulnerable lately, and it's been putting more burden on the bullpen. And we have guys in the bullpen that are coming off in the IL, long trips on the IL. So we need some reinforcements here now. Yep. And not getting them, I don't know why the in-house guys haven't been brought up yet. I've been talking about Jonathan with this too. It's just kind of strange, but it's just the way that it is right now. They clearly know stuff that we don't, so maybe these guys aren't ready. Right? Would Texas move Josh Smith? I don't know. I'm not sure. That I'm not sure. And is he worth and what would they require to move him? What would they ask for? But those are the guys I would, I mentioned this to you, Jonathan, yesterday. Those are the guys that I would probably Target is an ideal deadline for the Yankees because you get your bat, you get your infield. I mean, you get your relief pitcher and you get your starter. Without because not every move needs to be the expensive shiny piece. That doesn't always guarantee success. Well, yeah, and also Cashman might extract somebody for a team that we never thought was available because he does that too. So I don't know. I'm not sure what they're gonna do. I'm really not. Yeah, I mean, price for the top 2 starters are probably going to be Sandy Alcantara and Freddie Peralta, and they're not going to be cheap. They're not going to come cheap. But it is what it is, right? By the way, smack that like button, gang, if you don't mind. We got a lot of people who haven't done that yet, and I thank you for it. Get those thumbs up. Thumbs up. So, yeah, that's what I'm saying, Frank. I mean, making moves now. Like last year, they got Jazz Chisholm. I think it was 2 weeks before the deadline, and I will be looking to make moves now. I would not. I'm not gonna. I don't think it is a good idea to wait until Luke Weaver comes back. We need somebody who can come in now. Guys that can be added to the bullpen who don't walk a lot of players. Because that's also been putting the Yankees in a hole with the 3-batter minimum. Like Fernando Cruz, he walks a couple guys, and then Tim Hill coughed up that base hit, and 2 runs were credited to Fernando Cruz last night. That's just the way that it was. So the walking guys in the bullpen does not help the guy that's going to replace you, right? It doesn't help. Yeah, we'll see. We'll see what it's going to cost, Susan. Yep. Cashman, yeah, I mean, I think Cashman would be well off to make some moves right now. I mean, we know that they're actively looking. I don't know how deep in conversations he is with other teams. Maybe other teams are going to try to wait until the deadline to see if prices go up. But if I'm Cashman, I'm going to be aggressive, at least for the bullpen right now. At least add a high leverage reliever in a pen. That I hope they do. They do have to get guys up to the upper levels, yeah. They need more. This is why I think it would be good to draft some collegiate offensive players in the top 10 rounds of the draft. Because these guys generally tend to move up through the system when they're drafted a little bit lower. Like the Yankees draft them, they tend to move up through the system a little bit quicker than high school players do. Well, when Stanton comes back, I think it's going to be Pablo Reyes. I think he goes when Stanton returns. That's my guess. But this is where, I'm trying to think of productive solutions here for this Yankee squad. Because a lot of the paranoid fans are, the season's over, this is cooked, that's cooked, and whatever. Can't really blame Aaron Boone for pitchers giving up home runs. Right? It's pointless to blame Boone for that, but I know a lot of people like to do that. Accusing him of punting the game or accusing him of mismanaging the bullpen. It could be Joe Torre. He's going to be dealt with the same cards. Bruce Bochy dealt with the same cards. If you have a bunch of injured relievers, half of them aren't here, it's going to be tough to work around that. And I think that's a perspective that would be great for people to just keep in mind. Right? Beagle, what's going on, Beagle? Yeah. That's where, those are my 3. Brandon Lau, Merrill Kelly, Jake Bird. That would be my trade deadline if I could make it happen. Again, all realistic, all fit within that payroll flexibility that the Yankees are having heading into the deadline, and they would all address needs, positions of need. Yeah, no kidding, Beagle. Excuse me. Starting to recover from my morning workout. Did a bunch of hard kettlebell stuff, and then I did my cardio out in the rain. It's chilly and wet here. That's what we got, gang. I wanted to get your take on this. And there's going to be a lot of fans that are going to panic. I get it. There's going to be a lot of fans that are frustrated. I get it. I get it. Which is why, again, I'm kind of trying to put forth things that they can actually do that can help. It's up to them to do it, obviously. Maybe they have a different thought of mind, different thought process in mind. I hope, and maybe that works. If it does, kudos to them. Kudos to them. You know. Yep. Yeah, cards is in the bill. What's going on, CT Cards? Yeah, I'm actually live right now on my phone. I generally hardly ever go live on my phone. Now here looking at this little crowns and community leaderboard, it's pretty cool. Pretty cool. Gang, I want to thank you for coming on. Really, just a little morning hit. If any news comes out today, you will get it. You have my word. And anybody not subscribed to the channel, please make sure you do that right now. And I greatly appreciate your support. I'm going to continue to put out important Yankee content. And continue to make sure you know what's going on in a factual and accurate way. So with that said, go have a great rest of your day, everybody. Have a great week. Peace and love to all of you. See you next time.